What is up, Financial Freedom Fast fam? It is Friday, so that means it's another solo ripper where I give you some actionable steps, some knowledge, and some content to help you reach financial freedom fast because that's what we are all about on the Financial Freedom Fast podcast. So, welcome. Really excited to dig in today. We're going to be talking all about cars today, the benefits of driving a cheap car, especially in the beginning. I'm saying in the beginning of your investment career, your financial freedom journey, the benefits of not financing a car, of buying a car cash, of building some real confidence through your car, flipping cars, the mentality, some stories that I have with cars that I've bought in the past, and just some actionable tips that you can take to either get yourself a new car, to sell your old car, to buy something cash, and to be looking at a car as an asset and not as a liability. As we all know from other podcasts that we've gone into here, when we're trying to reach financial freedom, we're always looking at ways to reduce our monthly expenses. That's because when you're building up passive income, so it can be higher than your expenses, so you can leave your job and be financially free, the lower that your monthly expenses are, the quicker you're going to be able to reach that number. So I want to start here by saying that, especially with cars, I have driven the nice cars, and since then have downgraded. I had and this was back in high school. I had a Nissan 350Z Nismo. That's a special edition sports car. I had a Chrysler 300S. That was a V8. These things were powerful, cool looking cars. And now I drive a 2005 Honda Civic. My main reason behind getting that 2005 Honda Civic was because of the cost of the other cars. With my Chrysler, which was the last car that I had before my Civic, I was running into all these different issues and costs with the cars, repairs, things like that. So I just ended up selling it, paying off some debt that I had on a credit card from a European trip that I took. And then from that day forward, I vowed to myself to never get myself into debt that I really didn't like and to buy things that were going to be costing me extreme amounts of money that I didn't want to spend on them because they were not producing me any type of cash flow. So when you look at a car as an expense, the third largest expense on average for every American is their car. Now that's behind housing and food. So it's typically around 17% of someone's monthly income goes to their car. Now that goes to the financing aspect of the car, the debt on the car, if someone finances, which I don't think you should, but you can do what you want. So you have that portion, the debt, but then you have your gas, you have your insurance, and you have your monthly maintenance on the car, which all adds up. And that's why I got out of my Chrysler 300. Big benefit to buying your car cash is not having that financed portion. And now when you buy, so that'll lower your monthly expenses. And when you're buying a car cash, you're going to make sure that you're buying the very best car that's not going to give you a ton of issues, and make sure that your dollars are being used effectively to buy that car. So, a little story about how I've built up. So, a little story about my car history and what I've done. So, I began flipping cars back when I graduated college to bring in some extra money. I would basically do what I do with real estate right now. The cars were a training wheel. I would go on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and I would look for sellers who are trying to get rid of their cars, and maybe they've got a little bit of a pinch or a bind. I would make them really low offers on their car, about 50% of the value of what they were asking for. And most people said no. Probably about 80 to 90% said no. Maybe 95% said no on the offers. But there's always that 5% that would say yes. And I would go and pick that car up. So I would be going and getting a market value of around $5,000 on that car, but I would be buying that car for 2,500 bucks, $3,000, a good gap there, especially for a recent college graduate trying to get a little bit of extra cash. It was great for me to do that. I could go buy a car and sell it the next day and make 1,500 bucks. So that helped me to learn what a quality car was and how I could get one for myself. I focused in on Honda Civics for a while because I saw that there's such a high demand. People will buy them, they know they're good quality cars. And since other people knew that they were good quality cars, it kind of educated me on what made them a quality car, why they don't have all these different problems that other cars have, and how cheap they are to fix if there is a problem. So I went with the Honda Civic. Another comparable car that you could look at is a Toyota Corolla, which a lot of entrepreneurs that know about expense reduction and buying quality assets, a lot of them buy a Honda Civic or the Toyota Corolla when they're first starting off. So the like I said, I currently drive a 2005 Honda Civic with 96,000 miles on it. When I bought that car 2 years ago, it had 50,000 miles on it. I bought that for $2,800 cash, no financing, don't have to worry about any debt. It's pretty low insurance, around $100 a month for very good coverage on that car. The car doesn't run into problems and it's pretty damn good on gas. I think it gets around I average around 26 miles per gallon, which is not too shabby. So I also knew that if I went to a dealership and I bought or leased a nice car and drove it off the lot, as soon as I drove off the lot, as you have probably all heard, the value of your car is going to drop so quick. So it never really made sense for me to do that. So I basically set a parameter for myself for flipping these cars. I would go on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. I would look for Honda Civics or Toyota Corollas or Hyundai Sonatas under 80,000 miles between 20 between 2 and $4,000. I knew if I bought within that price range, I would be able to sell it within around 3 4 days, and I would get all my money back and a good amount more. I would probably make around $1,000 per car, which was my goal. I had some days where I made 2,000, 3,000 in one day selling that car. So this really helped me to get into the mindset of buying a car cash and not needing the financing every single month. Helped to reduce my expenses, but also doing this flipping allowed me to find the car that I wanted. So it's honestly a really good technique. If you're looking for a car right now, just go buy something really below market value. Go out, save up enough cash, buy it cash. If you like the car, then keep it. If you don't like the car, then sell it. If you're buying everything 30, 40, 50% below market, you're going to be able to sell it quick. So I basically approach this the same way that I look at real estate. I am trying to buy my real estate way below market value. So I know if I ever run into a problem, I'll be able to sell that asset off and get rid of it if I run into a pinch, which hasn't exactly happened yet. So this all kind of boils down when you're looking to buy a car for yourself. Look at it as an asset versus a liability. An asset puts money in your pocket every month. A liability takes money out. So this a car is going to be a liability most likely either way, right? Unless you're using it for Toro or some type of renting service, it's going to take money out. So you want to reduce the amount of money that asset, if you want to call it an asset, or that liability is taking out of your money every single month. If you're financing every month, you're throwing money out of the window, and that's money that you could be using to save and invest and buy assets, actual assets that are going to make you cash flow every single month. And when you have a car and you're driving it, if you have a nice car, you're literally decreasing the value of that car so much because day by day, the car becomes older and more obsolete, and you're putting more miles on that car. So it's getting more usage, and the overall value of that car is going to decrease. One last hidden benefit of buying a car, one last hidden benefit of buying a cheaper car and driving that around, honestly, is the mental muscle of confidence that it builds up for you. I know that when I was in college and when I was in high school driving these fancy cars, I was like, "Oh man, people are they're going to think I'm cool rolling up in a nice sports car, rolling up in my Chrysler 300S. I got this luxury nice looking car. It's got all the bells and whistles." Man, people don't care. Nobody cares. Literally, no one cares what you're driving. Some people think it's cool for a moment, but when you get out of the car, you're still the person that was driving the car. You're not the car. The car is not you. You are the person that gets out of the car. So when you drive a piece of crap car, it builds up the mental muscle for you that, like, hey, I even though this car is old and people don't think it's cool, I to be honest, I freaking love my car. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done for myself. I love my Honda Civic. Outside of that, if people don't think it's cool and it's a societal belief that the cool people are driving cool cars, then that's something that you're fighting against almost. So you're driving this old car, it builds up this muscle that, like, I'm who I am as a person. I'm not defined by these material objects. So I think that's another big benefit of buying a cheaper car, getting the car cash, aside from the financial and cost reduction benefits that come along with this. So if you have any questions, especially about flipping cars, because I did do that for a little bit, reach out to me. You can reach out to me at Matt Amabile. That's Mattamabile, basically on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever else you could find me. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. But that's the pod for today. All about cars, all about reducing expenses and reaching financial freedom fast, because that's what we're all about, baby. Let's reduce those expenses. Let's build up some passive income, and let's live the life of our dreams, doing whatever we want, whenever we want, like me doing this podcast. So, you guys have questions, reach out. Talk to you soon, baby.